Hi there everyone! I do pray that you are well today. This is Joel Chavez and I take up some units in BS Ed, major in English, and this is for me to qualify to teach English in junior and senior high school. I am assigned to discuss the first lesson, What is Language, in EL Class 100. For a student in this class, Introduction to Linguistics, I believe it is imperative to understand clearly what language is in order for us to have a better understanding of different topics necessary to be a linguist. This class is likewise important to me in making me ready to use English language as the medium of instruction and impart knowledge to students in time. For someone to be a polyglot or multilingual, he or she has to get an immense knowledge about the background, norms, and adept at getting into cultural understanding and be able to be called one good member or part of the society using that particular language. Since it is my goal to be an English teacher to high school students, it is now my responsibility to equip myself both with oral and written communication skills that should eventually my future students benefit. Now, what is language? Is it the language I am using that you hear as I speak right now? Are the actions I did considered as a language form? Are facial expressions and mere gestures show language and can be used as a way of communicating to someone? Are those crowings of roosters considered a system of language? Bear with me and join me as I dissect what language is and what are the things we should understand more in order for us to use it properly, as enjoyable, as worthwhile as we can have it. Let's define what language is with the help of some known dictionaries. According to Oxford English Dictionary, language is the method of human communication, either spoken or written, consisting of the use of words in a structured and conventional way. It is a non-verbal method of expression or communication, just like a body language. It is also a system of communication used by a particular country or community. Merriam-Webster says, the words, their pronunciation, and the methods of combining them used and understood by a community. Number 2, a systematic means of communicating ideas or feelings by the use of conventionalized signs, sounds, gestures, or marks having understood meanings. Number 3, the suggestion by objects, actions, or conditions of associated ideas or feelings. Number 4, the means by which animals communicate. Example, the language of birds or dogs. Now let's see what Cambridge Dictionary has got to say. A system of communication consisting of sounds, words, and grammar, or the system of communication used by people in a particular country or type of work. And according to Collins, a language is a system of communication which consists of a set of sounds and written symbols which are used by the people of a particular country or region for talking or writing. Let's hear it from the ever-famous Wikipedia this time. A language is a structured system of communication. Language in a broader sense is the method of communication that involves the use of particularly human languages. Language is the ability to acquire and use complex system of communication, particularly the human ability to do so. And the language is any specific example of such a system. The scientific study of language is called linguistics. Questions concerning the philosophy of language, such as whether words can represent experience, have been debated at least since Gorgias and Plato in ancient Greece. Thinkers such as Rousseau have argued that language originated from emotions, while others like Kant have held that it originated from rational and logical thought. 20th century philosophers such as Wittgenstein argue that philosophy is really the study of language. Major figures in linguistics include Ferdinand de Saussure and Noam Chomsky. Estimates of the number of human languages in the world vary between 5,000 and 7,000.
However, any precise estimate depends on the arbitrary distinction between languages and dialect. Natural languages are spoken or signed, but any language can be encoded into secondary media using auditory, visual, or tactile stimuli, for example, in writing, whistling, signing, or braille. This is because human language is modality independent. Depending on philosophical perspectives regarding the definition of language and meaning, when used as a general concept, language may refer to the cognitive ability to learn and use systems of complex communication, or to describe the set of rules that makes up these systems, or the set of utterances that can be produced from those rules. All languages rely on the process of semiosis to relate signs to particular meanings. Oral, manual, and tactile languages contain a phonological system that governs how symbols are used to form sequences known as words or morphemes, and a syntactic system that governs how words and morphemes are combined to form phrases and utterances. While communication refers to the interchange of message or information from one person to another, either verbally or non-verbally, on the other hand, language is a human communication method or the system through which two people interact. Language is a complex human behavior which defies many disciplines in describing its formal structure and function.
We humans use language as we socialize, work, study, and almost everything on all our endeavors. Language is important in communication, for it is a medium or a tool used to express one's thoughts, feelings, and ideas. Language, in my own words, can be in different ways, such as written, oral, and even through actions or gestures and facial expressions. Language can also be visual, that is perceivable by our eyes. In general, language can be verbal, or using words, and non-verbal, using body language and symbols. To discuss more about language, what's the significance of language, culture, and society to one another? These three are interlinked to each of them, and we say that they have a symbiotic relationship for each to exist, develop, or evolve in time. Let's talk more. Can culture and society survive without using a language? Obviously, the answer is no. I strongly believe they won't even exist without a language because we humans do communicate and do things showing our identities and individualities as we exist in our communities, building a society in our time. It is tantamount to the saying, man cannot live by bread alone. We do not live by just feeding ourselves with food. In biblical perspective, we also live with God's word or teachings, just like culture and society live on with the language as their food to survive. Now, how does language affect the culture and the society of people? In like major, massive way. One good example I can mention is the situation of me and my wife. I am from Bicol and so I should be speaking Bicolano, while my wife is native here in Anda and she speaks Bulinaw. We've met in Manila and had it not for Tagalog and English languages, we won't be able to understand and like each other. Perhaps love alone won't be enough for us to completely understand each other. Also, our first child had a huge adjustment in her studies here in Anda due to language barrier as she used to speak English and Chinese in her classes when we were in China. The scenario has been like this for a couple of years. She would cry every day and run out from her classroom as per teacher because she is used to a different environment, language-wise and culture-wise. As I also used to work with different nationalities, meeting and dealing with teachers and international students when I was in China, I came to experience and realize that language is a powerful instrument to build or ruin a culture or a society. English language plays a vital role in the life of foreign teachers in China. This is what our Chinese students need to learn from us teachers. Chinese translators need to be really good at their language skill to translate for us and to students when needed. For me, to be able to adapt and fit in to their culture and understand them more so my life would also be enjoyable or at least convenient, I needed to learn Mandarin. I am well versed in some ways but not really conversant. Just good enough. So I have these tips. Learning Chinese language can give one lots and lots of good Chinese friends. It is important to say that language has an integral part in the socio-cultural life of people and for the furtherance of a race of people in what we call culture and society. Thanks for standing by me for a while, and I hope that this video somehow gave you some knowledge. See you next time and take care, and God bless us all.